sometimes it only takes one decision to change everything. These actors were just one step away from superstardom until a single choice, conflict, or twist of fate sent their Hollywood momentum crashing to a halt. Charlie Hunnam was set to dominate the box office until 50 Shades of Grey slipped away. At the height of his fame from Sons of Anarchy, he was cast as billionaire Christian Grey in the highly anticipated adaptation of the best-selling novel. But despite his excitement for the role, scheduling conflicts forced him to drop out just before filming began. Jamie Dornan took over, and the movie became a global phenomenon. Hunnam later admitted the decision still haunts him, as 50 Shades could have cemented his leap from TV star to Hollywood leading man. Instead, it became the one role that got away. Tom Selleck was almost the man with the hat and the whip, until Magnum P.I. got in the way. Before Harrison Ford became Indiana Jones, the role was offered to Selleck, who had just been cast as the lead in his new CBS series. But when the network refused to let him take time off to film Raiders of the Lost Ark, he had no choice but to turn it down. The part then went to Ford, launching one of cinema's most iconic heroes. Selleck became a TV legend, but missing Raiders meant missing the adventure franchise that could have made him a global movie star. Katie Holmes helped relaunch Batman, then vanished from Gotham before the biggest sequel of all time. After starring as Rachel Dawes in Batman Begins, she was expected to return for The Dark Knight, but when filming started, her role had quietly been recast with Maggie Gyllenhaal. The reasons were never clear. Nolan said she was unavailable, while Holmes later claimed it was her decision to move on. Whatever the truth, she missed out on one of the most celebrated films in modern cinema. The Dark Knight became a cultural phenomenon, while Holmes' Hollywood spotlight dimmed, a dramatic twist even Bruce Wayne couldn't predict. James Remar was on track to star in one of the greatest sci-fi sequels ever, until it all fell apart. Cast as Lieutenant Hicks in James Cameron's Aliens, Remar had already filmed several scenes when personal issues forced him to leave the production. With time running out, Cameron quickly replaced him with Michael Biehn, who stepped in and made the role his own. Aliens became a massive hit, cementing Biehn as a go-to action star of the late 80s and 90s. Remar, meanwhile, continued working steadily, but losing Aliens likely cost him a shot at the blockbuster fame that could have followed. Michael Madsen was supposed to dance through Pulp Fiction until a Western rode in and changed everything. After his unforgettable turn as Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs, Quentin Tarantino wanted him back as Vincent Vega, but Madsen had already signed on to Kevin Costner's Wyatt Earp and couldn't take the role. So Tarantino cast John Travolta instead, and it became one of cinema's greatest comebacks, earning Travolta an Oscar nomination and reviving his career overnight. Wyatt Earp, on the other hand, flopped. Madsen went on to appear in other Tarantino hits, but missing Pulp Fiction meant missing the film that redefined cool forever. Don Johnson could have been John McClane, but he turned down Die Hard, the role that made Bruce Willis a legend. At the height of his Miami Vice fame, Johnson was offered the part of the tough New York cop trapped in a Los Angeles skyscraper. But for reasons never made public, he passed on it, leaving the door open for Willis, who took the role and redefined the modern action hero. Die Hard became a massive hit and launched Willis into global superstardom. Johnson stayed on TV and later found success again with Nash Bridges, but the blockbuster career that could have been his ended before it ever began. Richard Kiel was almost TV's original Hulk, until his size turned out to be the wrong kind of big. Best known as the steel-toothed villain Jaws in the James Bond films, Kiel was first cast to play the green-skinned superhero in the Incredible Hulk TV series. But after just a few days of filming, producers realized his tall, lanky frame didn't match the muscular bulk they wanted for the role. He was replaced by bodybuilder Lou Ferrigno, whose massive physique and growling performance made him iconic as the Hulk for decades. Kiel moved on to other projects, but none ever matched the fame that came from Ferrigno's legendary transformation. Lori Petty was just 2 days into filming Demolition Man when her Hollywood dream role disappeared. Fresh off her success in A League of Their Own, she was cast as Sylvester Stallone's futuristic police partner in the sci-fi action film. But after reported creative differences with producer Joel Silver, Petty was abruptly fired and replaced by a then-unknown Sandra Bullock. The decision changed movie history. Demolition Man helped launch Bullock into superstardom, while Petty's career shifted toward indie films and cult favorites like Tank Girl, one firing two very different destinies. Ruby Rose became the face of Gotham, then walked away from it. After breaking out in Orange is the New Black and starring in big-budget action films, Rose landed the lead role in the CW's Batwoman, marking the first openly gay superhero to headline a network series. But after just one season, she suddenly announced her departure, calling it a mutual decision. Later, she claimed she'd faced unsafe conditions and mistreatment on set. The truth behind her exit remains murky, but one thing's clear: leaving Batwoman ended her momentum. Once set for Hollywood stardom, Rose's career shifted to smaller, low-budget releases instead. Terry Farrell's run as Jadzia Dax on Star Trek Deep Space Nine made her a fan favorite, until it ended abruptly. After 6 seasons on the show, Farrell wanted a lighter workload and asked to appear in fewer episodes, but producers refused and instead wrote her character out completely, replacing her with Nicole DeBoer for the final season. The decision ended her Star Trek journey and stalled her rising career. She moved on to the sitcom Becker with Ted Danson, but after that, major roles disappeared. Farrell later revealed she didn't want to leave Trek entirely, yet one negotiation effectively closed the airlock on her Hollywood momentum. Debra Winger walked away from A League of Their Own because of Madonna. The Oscar-nominated actress revealed she trained for 3 months with the Chicago Cubs to prepare for the 1992 baseball film, but quit when director Penny Marshall cast the pop superstar. Winger said the hiring turned the project into an Elvis film, not the serious story she signed on for. Despite leaving, she still got paid under a rare pay-or-play clause in her contract. Gina Davis replaced her in the lead, and while Winger admitted Davis did okay, she wasn't convinced the film honored the real-life players. As for Madonna, Winger dryly noted, her acting career has spoken for itself. Stuart Townsend was just days away from becoming the face of one of the biggest trilogies in film history, until everything collapsed overnight. Originally cast as Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings, Townsend had already spent months training for the role when director Peter Jackson suddenly decided he was too young for the part. He was fired only a few days into filming, replaced by Viggo Mortensen, who went on to become a global icon. For Townsend, that one casting change marked a turning point, from almost being Hollywood royalty to becoming one of its most forgotten what-if stories. Tamzin Merchant was once the mother of dragons, until Game of Thrones decided to start over. In the original pilot, she played Daenerys Targaryen, the role that would later make Emilia Clarke a global star. But after the first version of the episode was scrapped for major reshoots, HBO decided to recast several parts, including Daenerys. Merchant was replaced, and her scenes were never aired. When the show finally premiered, Clarke's performance became iconic, defining one of TV's most powerful characters. For Merchant, it was the ultimate lost opportunity, being cut from the series that changed television forever. Rachel Dratch was supposed to be one of the stars of 30 Rock, until the network changed its mind. After leaving Saturday Night Live, Dratch was set to reunite with Tina Fey as the co-lead of Fey's new sitcom, playing actress Jenna Maroney, but after filming the pilot, producers decided to recast the role with Jane Krakowski to make the show more marketable. Dratch was dropped from the main cast, but stayed on for small guest spots in quirky background roles. 30 Rock went on to win multiple Emmys and launch Krakowski's TV fame, while Dratch's big post-SNL moment slipped away before it even began.